Right then, 3, 2, 1, boom. We've took the Kickin' It podcast international. Obviously, lockdown's on. We're going to get some international guests on. What better way to start with one of the most promising prospects we have in Europe, the babyface killer, Michael Savvas. Thank you for coming on, mate. How are you? You okay?
I'm good, mate. Thank you.
Mate, I know you're struggling in fucking lockdown because me and you, we've chatted in depthly about how badly we're losing as fucking minds, aren't we?
Exactly.
I know you're struggling and I'm struggling. You're over in Cyprus, aren't you, at the minute? Obviously,
man.
You're based in Thailand. You fight and live in Thailand. Did you come home for a rest? Just like a little
break?
I
actually, because Thailand was on lockdown and it was kind of really strict in Thailand, and they were telling us like the fights weren't going to start for a long time. So I was like, fuck, I'm tired. I want to go home for a rest. Came back to Cyprus for a rest, and then boom, Thailand locks its airports.
Fucking opened up.
Thailand closes their airports and no one can go back. So I'm just stuck in Cyprus at the moment.
It's absolute bollocks. I was saying to someone the other day, I would give anything just to be able to jump on a flight. Do you understand how jealous I get every morning when I flick onto Muay Thai results page on Instagram and I see all the fights that are going off? I'm like, fucking hell.
Man, I don't even. Sometimes I don't even want to check what fights are coming up because I get jealous. I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to know.
Obviously, like you'd signed for one as well, but what you were doing in Thailand as well. If you were there now, you could be fighting again so regular and stuff, and not have to worry about one for a little bit because it's going on in Singapore. And you were chasing that stadium title shot, and you were closing closing in.
Yeah, that's all I cared about at the beginning. I mean, I signed with one. I was really excited, but my main focus is because I was young and I know my body's fresh. I was like, okay, look, I can't focus completely on both because I find it a bit impossible. 5 rounds and 3 rounds. Yeah, so I was like, I actually wanted to focus on the stadium titles first. I was like, I'm young, I feel good, so I'll focus on that. But then one came around, so then I had to kind of do both.
It's difficult trying to get that medium into it, small gloves, 3 rounds, stadium rules, 5 frees, gambling, and it's...
Exactly, yeah. That's that I try to explain that to people, but not many people understand. Is like when you fight in the stadiums, the 5 rounds, you know what I mean? The gamblers, the round 1, you have to fight slow, or the gamblers, it's just crazy, man. I'm like, and then I have to jump into one, and it's a 3-round fight and fast pace. I'm like, fuck, it's hard.
And if you're half asleep in round 1 in them little gloves and you get tagged, it's not like
exactly.
It's not like a little shot. You're going to be on your ass and you're going to be chasing.
Exactly.
Right, let's pull it back a little bit, mate, because you started. Were you 6 years old when you started training?
Yeah, I started 6 years old in Cyprus.
Yeah,
man.
How did you get into it? What kicked that off?
Well, basically, my dad used to do karate when he was young. He used to live in Canada. So he used to do karate and he went well in Canada. So I was in Cyprus and I was 6 years old and I was like it was time to start something. I wasn't into football. So I was like, fuck, my parents were trying to see what they would put me in. So they took me to a karate lesson and I didn't like it because there was no contact. So
we're fucking hit someone.
Yeah. So one day we were actually I remember we were lying on the couch and we were watching Eurosport. You remember the K1 Max days?
Yeah.
And I was like to my dad, I want to do this. So my dad found a Muay Thai kickboxing gym around in Limassol, and he was like, okay, let's go. And I went up and I just never stopped ever since.
Is that the same gym that you go back to
same
now?
Gym, same
nice.
Same gym. Yeah.
Decent. And your first fight, were it at 6 years old?
Yeah, 6 years old. So after 3 months of training, I got
3 months
into a
fucking hell.
Yeah, so I was quite talented. I had the technique, but I was very weak. Like, I was so weak. I couldn't even I would punch the bag and my hand would come back. Like, that's how weak. And then there was this other guy. He was 7 years old. He was like the champion in the gym that time, but he got injured. So my trainer was like, okay, it's your turn to jump in. So I jumped in, and back then in Cyprus, you were allowed to fight. Like, there was no rule, like no head contact. We wear the head guards, but we were allowed to hit the. Yeah, so we would hit the head. Right. Yeah, so it was just a full fight with a helmet on, and I just loved it. And then I just started going into it.
Well, in England, obviously, like they've been so PC recently with all the head contacts and that.
Yeah.
They've been like trying to get fighters not to be able to fight head contact until they're 18 in England and stuff.
Oh,
that's way too late, because I've seen fighters
that's too late
who were very promising juniors and you can see the good, but they're starting to get older and then they get put in the first adult fight by the time they're fucking 18 and they don't know what they're doing. They're still trying to fight like a junior. They're getting shocked when they're getting hit in the head and stuff.
Yeah, you need to get used to it. I think in Cyprus, they turned it to 15, and ever since they done that, the level just went down right away in Cyprus.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think that does affect it.
100%. Like, I was 14, 15. I believe you were 14, 15 when you were fighting pro as well, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I started fighting pro when I was 13, and it was fine.
Yeah, if you look at all the elite level Western fighters, they have all started fighting pro around 14, 15. And like,
how old did you start?
14.
Hey, you see, so everybody.
McGowan, you.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? All these elite guys, they're all young, and like, obviously Alamos was as well. Like, do you know what I mean? So if you hold them back and like, by the time you're 18, if you're gonna go fight a Thai who's been fighting pro since he was 7 years old, how can you fight that? Do you know what I mean? It's difficult, and it needs for some people, like, maybe let them go not until they're 16. But if you see someone talented and ready, let them you need to let them do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just let them go. I mean, I would just I don't know, let the parents sign a paper or something. I don't know, some kind of rule for them. You know what I mean?
Well, we just used to fucking lie when I was doing it. I used to lie and say I was 18. But when I was 14, mate, I still had this beard and stuff.
Oh, really?
I was just little and fat and had like a little beard and stuff. So I got away with it. You used to run for an hour before school, didn't you?
Yeah, mate, every day. That was basically, so I hated Muay Thai when I was 6 to 10. I'll be really honest. I did not like it, man. I would go into the gym, get beaten up every single day.
That's made you who you are now, though, that.
Yeah. But for you to understand, I was so weak that even a fucking girl would beat me up. Like, it was embarrassing, man. It was really embarrassing. So by the time I was 10, though, like, I started becoming good. I started winning. I never lost in Cyprus. Like, I started winning all my fights, and then I started fighting, like, people from Israel would come in, Lebanon, and I just started seeing, like, I always saw that I was like a step ahead of them. I would they would all rush in and like try to punch me, but I would always stick on my knees and kick. You know, I was more technical, so I started loving it. And then I started watching.
When you were younger, were you tall as well? Because you're tall for your weight now, aren't you?
Yeah, I was taller than everyone all the time. Yeah. But I started watching fights on YouTube, and I started seeing how the Thais used to fight Lumpinee. So I started falling in love with it. I started liking it, you know. Started learning. I used to see the Thais fights in Lumpinee, what they done. And then by the time I was 11 years old, I flew out to the IFMA World Championships. And that's when I went to Thailand, and then I went to Lumpinee, and then I saw the whole atmosphere. And that's when I came back from Thailand back to Cyprus. And I told my mom, like, wow, this is what I want to do. You know, I like it. I love it. So then my school grades started going downhill. So my mom's like, all right, you know what? I see you really love it, but if you want to be a fighter, at least train like one. So don't get good grades at school. Try get your passing grades, but I want you to train like a fighter.
Yeah.
So I had to wake up 1 hour before school, go running every single day, and then by the time I was 13, I turned pro. So it was all worth it, actually.
When I've spoke to Dan McGowan before about you and stuff, because I used to say, like, before we'd met, really, I used to message you going, fucking hell. Savvas, mate, because I used to watch your videos when you were training at Petchyindee. I think this was before me and you had met.
Okay.
Fucking hell, Savvas, mate. He said he's fit. And McGowan said he's obsessed. He said he's obsessed.
Mate.
I said, yeah, that's why you've got to be. And he said, honestly, I've never seen anyone train as hard as he does. And that goes back. And that obsession has obviously been since you were 10-year-old, getting up, running to school, because you've got to be obsessed to do that shit.
When I have a fight, I get obsessed, man. Like I can train all day. Like I feel like I become like a robot. Like I don't know how it. Like now I feel like I'm lazy. I still train, but I'm not upset. But once I know there's a target, like I just go like I'm crazy. I'm obsessed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You know.
I'm exactly what you're like at the minute. And like I'm trying, and I'm just going through the motions in the gym, and I'm doing it. But I got told I was fighting Pongsuri like about a month ago. And I got told off my Pongsery. So I was like, fucking yes. So I went fucking crazy for 3 days. I was just training so hard. I was fucking buzzing again. And then they messaged back and said, oh, Pongsery can't get into Singapore. I was like, But I know what you mean about being able to flip the switch and go crazy.
Exactly. So when I have a fight, I'm obsessed, man. That's for sure. Like I train like I have this kind of, I don't know, it's like a fear, but if I miss training or if something happens during training or if I cheat in training or something,
Feel
you know,
bad.
the minute before the fight, I won't feel bad, but you know, the minute before the fight when you're sitting on that chair and you know you're next,
Yeah.
that's when those things
Shit.
haunt me.
Yeah.
So I know that's my rule. I never cheat, man. So I don't cheat in training. So when I'm sitting on the chair, I'm like, fuck, I gave it all. What's next?
Yeah, but
So
that coming back to that goes that if you lose a fight, you know you lost to the better man.
Exactly.
You're not having to question yourself. You're not thinking, fuck, I wish I didn't do that. Fuck, I should have gone run that time. Fuck,
Exactly. I done a mistake. I like knowing I done a mistake and lost, you know, like let's work on the mistake. I did not train to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But the way you fight though, mate, you're like a fucking pit bull when you fight. So you have to be fit to do that style and keep it going because you rip the punches in the knees and you're pressure all the time.
But you know what, to be honest, that style is good. You know, well, basically before 2 years, if you see my fights 2 years ago, I didn't have that aggression. Like I didn't have that pit bull style. And I think I didn't believe in myself that I can go to war. And that's when one day in Rajadamnern, I was losing round 4 and Bolt told me you have to turn the scorecards around. And that's when I went into pit bull mode. And ever since I done that in that fight, I kind of adapted to it and was doing it in every fight, which is good. But then I realized, like, against the Japanese guy, I was better than him in everything.
Yeah.
I could have just outscored him, and I was going in for the kill. And then I'm like, that's, you know, like these mistakes that I've done. I'm like looking back. I'm like, fuck, you have to know when to go in and you have to know when to outscore them.
It's
you know what I mean?
That exactly, mate. A lot of my career, when I had a lot of stoppages when I was younger, I sort of like, when I lived in Thailand as well, all the Thais told me to do was go forward, punch low kick, punch low kick.
Exactly,
A few times in the stadiums, especially, I'd hurt them with low kicks and punches, and the Thais just got on the back foot, sat on the ropes, kicked, move.
Yeah, exactly.
And I lost on points. And when I fought Gupi Volsatera, he was ranked in the top 5. And if I'd have won, I'd have gone ranked. And I dropped him in round 2, just a flash knockdown. He didn't get a count. He jumped back up.
Yeah.
After that, he didn't come forward. He went on the back foot. And the Thais were going, punch, go forward, punch. You'll knock him out. Got to round 4. And he just kicked me so many times in round 4 because I tried to knock him out. And then I lost. So it's like you said, that all comes with experience. So like now, I know when to try and go crazy, when to sit off a bit, when to
exactly.
But it's like it's trial and error because you're only young, aren't you? So it's trial and error at the minute.
That's the thing. Like sometimes when I'm in the fight, I can control my emotions, but I got to start realizing like it's just a thing with Thailand scoring and like one championship. Like I got to realize like when to sometimes, like, you know, like with the Japanese guy, I'm 100% sure I can outscore him. Yeah, I could have. I made an easy fight into a hard fight because I wanted to make it exciting. But that's something I'm going to stop now. I don't care about being exciting no more. I just want to, for now, I'm just going to focus on not getting injured and winning fights, man. That's all I'm going to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Let's go back again. How old were you when you first went to Thailand to stay for like a long period of time?
I was 15 years old.
What gym did you go to?
Oh, so when I was 15, I went to Kickin Torn Gym. I went for a month. I went for a month. That was my first time experience Thailand training. I just went for a month just to see how it was. I tried to get a fight, but they couldn't get me a fight as it was a small gym and all that anyway. Yeah. So then I finished. I went there, and then the World Championships. I went and I got a gold medal in the World Championships. So I didn't care. I always wanted to fight. I like amateur anything. I would just jump in and everything, man, everywhere. So then when I was 16, it was the first time I went to Petchyindee, and I went for 3 months.
What was that like walking into like one of Thailand's most renowned gyms? Were you just excited at the time? And how was it? Was it hard to fit in? Did you have to earn the respect of the Thais?
You know what? It was amazing being there, but then when I don't know, when shit hit the fan and training started, I was like, man, this is too hard, you know? I mean, I love Nongo, I love Same, I love all these guys around me, but this is hard, man. Like, my legs were killing from all the running. We would wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, run 15 kilometers. And back then, Petchyindee, when I was 16 years old, when we went back then, when Daniel was there and everything, Daniel was sponsored by the training, was like old school training. So we would train the same in the morning as we would train the same in the afternoon.
Yeah, it takes its toll on your body doing that.
Yeah, so I was there for 3 months, and basically all I could say, I was 3 months overtrained. I was fucked, mate. Like my body was not okay, and I actually got offered to fight in Lumpinee Stadium, and then unluckily I had an appendix surgery. So
Yeah.
like one week before the fight, I had to get surgery on my appendix. That was another nightmare in fucking Thai hospital, but it was good. Yeah, so I was actually heartbroken because it was like my childhood dream to fight in Lumpinee, like in Bangkok's main stadium, and like Bo offered me the fight, but Bo was like, you know what, go back to Cyprus and come back. So I went back to Cyprus, and then I came back after 3 months. Luckily, I found a sponsor once I came back to Cyprus. So I came back after 3 months, and then I fought in Lumpinee.
That your first time in Lumpinee? What
But
was
yeah,
that
first
like?
time in
Was that would have been the new Lumpinee or the old Lumpinee?
the new one. Never
New
fought in
one.
the old man, unluckily.
That fucking shows how old I am, mate. That does. I'm fucking old as shit.
Yeah, mate.
What were that like then? Like you mentioned it before, like when you sat down just at the ring, ready to go in the ring. Were that like fucking hell? I've been waiting for this my whole life, or were it like,
yeah, but
what we're doing?
I'll tell you a story about that, because that's another crazy story. So basically the first 3 months I loved and hated. So I came back to Cyprus, and I was also at the back of my mind, should I go back? Like, I think it's too hard for me, man, because I couldn't even clinch with someone. I was getting battered. Everything I do, I get battered, man. Like I tried clinch somebody, and like I had no power to fucking put my hand in. Like I was so weak. Like like
mate, nothing prepares you for clinching a tie the first time you go to Thailand. It's
yeah, man. Like my neck was in pain every day. My legs were hurt, and I would not sleep in. I didn't know how to listen to my body, and I wasn't used to Thai food from the first time. So it was all just hard. So when I came back to Cyprus, I was like, okay, I love it, but do I want to go back to Thailand? It was too hard. Like I was thinking, maybe I should go study. Maybe I'm not good enough for a fighter. Like all these doubts were coming in my head.
Yeah.
But then I went back to school, and mate, I fucking hated school, man. I hated school. And I still hate it to this day. Like that's how fucking much I hated it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going back to Thailand, and like Bo offered me to go back to fight. So I went back to Thailand. Then I started training for my Lumpinee fight. And then yeah, that was like, oh, it was amazing, man. Like I don't know, I had the second time I went back, it was better. I had more energy to train. I was fitter, and I was learning new stuff. They were taking more good care of me and all that. And then the day I was fighting at Lumpinee, so basically I was supposed to fight on a date that was a small show in Lumpinee, but this other Thai in our gym got injured. So he injured his leg during training. So both like, okay, you're gonna replace him on my show in Lumpinee.
Fucking hell.
I was like, all right. I was like, okay. So I understood what that was, because I knew that was a big show. So I was like, the second fight of the night in Lumpinee, which was kind of big, you know, being 16.
Yeah. You know what? Usually when you're young like that, they'll put you on after the main event when everyone's gone home.
Exactly. So
at 16 years old before the main event is fucking massive.
No, I wasn't before the main event. I was like second or third fight, which was still
but still like before. You're still before.
Oh yeah.
Usually, what they'll do is if you were like new to the stadiums, they'll put you on after when everyone's gone home.
Yeah, exactly. So Bo, I don't know. He loved my style and all that, so he kind of like trusted me too. So I show up at the stadium, and have you been to the new Lumpinee, right?
Yeah, I've been. Yeah.
Do you know when you park outside, you can hear the roar from outside if a fight. Yeah, so I parked outside, and we were a bit late. The first fight has started, and I was hearing the gamblers going crazy, man. And that was like, okay, I started shaking. So I started walking in the stadium. I was shaking. I get my hand wraps on, and then I was sitting down, and like, that was my first time not warming up for a fight too, by the way, because that was my first fight in Thailand. Like a professional fight in Thailand was at Lumpinee.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so they put the oil on tape, and they were like, okay, sit on the chair. And I was like, what? Like, I'm not used to that. I wanted to shadow box because I was so cold. It was, so I was sitting there. I was shaking. I was really scared, mate, to be honest. Being honest, I was scared, mate. The roar was going. I was seeing the fights, and the guy gets knocked down. I'm like, okay, I'm on next. So I go in. And then, yeah, man, once I was in, though, it's like I always say this, like once I done the Y crew, and once I finished the Y crew, and it was time to, like, I don't know, I kind of felt like I lived the dream already. Like I don't know, you when you have it in your mind so much.
And I know exactly what you mean, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, fuck, I've been here before in my mind. So it's cool, let's go. It's like nothing. And then I was just listening to Bo. I was scared, but I was listening to Bo. Like thank God he speaks good English, and he's really into the details. So it was like, jab now, jab, teep. So I started getting into the game. I knew when to hit him, when to block, and all that. And then round 2, Bo shouts, jab left knee, and I throw it and I knock him out.
Yeah. Body knee
Yeah.
or head knee?
No, I jabbed him on the face and I kneed him right like on top of the like where the stomach is, but
Yeah.
on the
Ooh.
bone. Yeah. And he went down, and then after that, Bo was like, "Okay, go back to Cyprus, and I want you to become a Petchyindee fighter when you come back." I was
Okay.
like,
How did
"Cool."
that feel when he said that to you? How did that feel?
Oh man, that just like my whole body just relaxed. I was so happy. So yeah, I came back to Cyprus, and then the next year I just moved out to Thailand, mate.
In between this time somewhere, you came to England and fought. 'Cause I remember you fought John or Chip Chase, didn't you?
Exactly. So that year when I was preparing to go back to Thailand, that's when I came to the UK to fight John Chip Chase.
Right.
So it
Okay.
was after the fight at Lumpinee. So at 16, and then I fought Chip Chase at 17.
What show was that on? Was that main event?
The Tanko, yeah, the Tanko main event.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
that vaguely. Because that was before like many people knew who you were and stuff. Then.
Yeah, nobody knew me. That was actually my first
Yeah.
professional fight, like in Europe.
And
Yeah.
I think fucking like everyone in England were like, "Who the fuck's this guy? Just comes in and smashed him to pieces. Who is this guy?"
Yeah, because of the blood too. So it kind of was more exciting, right? Yeah.
Did you stop John or at points?
Yeah, round five, I stopped him.
You stopped him in round five. Yeah. I vaguely
Yeah.
remember that. But yeah, so you've come to England, you've won there, and then you go back to Thailand, and now you started like getting like your reps started getting up seriously in Thailand. You won
Yes.
your auto marathon tournament and stuff, didn't you? What happened before that? In between when you went back, was there like a in between phase building you up before the marathon and stuff?
No.
That?
So basically, yeah. So after the Chip Chase fight, that's when I came back to Cyprus, and then I moved to Thailand officially. So then I started fighting on, True for You. Do you know True for You fights?
Good fights in that stadium.
That was at Rangsit Stadium. Yeah. So still at Rangsit. So my first 5 fights were at True for You. So both didn't. It was a big show back then. Like the first time I fought on True for You was I was on my second fight in Thailand after Lumpinee was on the True for You, and Sangmani was on that card. Yeah. It was the biggest True for You card. It was like the opening. It was the first time True for You was happening. So Sangmani was on. I think Superlek was on. Yeah, and I was right after the main event though. That was like after the main event, and I won that fight, and then I won 5 right in a row, and then they threw me into the Toyota Marathon. So I fought twice in the Toyota Marathon. The first time I fought, I lost in the second fight.
Right. So who were in that tournament the first time you fought then?
So I fought this guy. His name was Kundio. And then I fought this other Thai. He was former Lumpinee champion. What was his name? I can't remember his name. It's on YouTube. I beat. So I won the first fight against Kundio. He was like number 5 in Rajadamnern. So I had no idea. So yeah, so I show up in the Toyota Marathon. I know it's a big thing, but that's when my confidence went up because I already won 5 fights. I was used to Thailand now, used to the hard training, used to everything. So the first fight I fought, like even both, everybody was like, "Fuck, is Savvas going to be able to win?" Because they were like, Kundio, like, fuck, we were unlucky. We got Kundio in the first fight. Yeah. I had no idea, mate, who he was. I go in there. To this day, that was one of my easiest fights to date.
Really?
Yeah. So, because he's an aggressive style. So, for my style, I just kneed him, and then I stopped him with knees and like punches. So, I knocked him out round 2. And then the second fight was against the former Lumpinee champion. So, that was my first fight. And that's when I lost because it was the first fighter I fought who was always on the back foot. Just middle kicking.
Yeah, I hate. You know what? When the Thais start to do that to you, it's fucking annoying. Using your experience, just going back, teep kick, try and move.
Yeah, exactly. So I had no idea how to block his kicks. I was so unexperienced. I was like, that was the next level, those. So I was like, I lost, and then we started so I lost the Toyota Marathon. So then I started going fight after fight. I fought on Top King. I fought Gensuan, Sasi Prapra. Now he's at Fairtex Gym, actually.
Yeah, he's strong him.
Yeah. So he was one of my he's probably my toughest fight. Like, he's the only fighter who every shot he landed on me hurt, mate. Like, even his low kick. Yeah. So I beat him, and then my confidence just went going up. So I was fighting him, and then only last year I started fighting Raja, mate, to be honest. Like, Bo made me do like 15 fights and then put me in Rajadamnern. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So when that's the first Toyota Marathon done. When did the second one come around? Because that's the one that you won, and I remember we all watched that live on TV.
Yeah, that was the next. Yeah, the next year. The year after.
So you had a full year to gain experience before that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you ended up fighting one of the main guys in the stadiums at the minute, Lobo, in the final, didn't you?
Yeah. No, but no, that was the second final. There's like 2 finals. So there's an 8-man and then there's a 4-man.
Fucking hell, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so the first 8-man tournament, you do 3 fights in one night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in the final of that one, I beat Felipe Lobo. Do you know Felipe Lobo?
Yeah.
He's another Brazilian. He beat Yod Panamrung in one championship recently.
You know what? I was very impressed with him in that fight. He did a right job on Yod Panamrung.
Yeah, he's very strong, mate. Like really, he was really strong. But to be honest, for the only hard thing about the Toyota Marathon is I was weighing in at 61 kilos. So basically, I weighed in with the Thai team because they tried to do this. So I was starting getting promoting by the Thais on like, you know, the newspapers and all that because I was fighting in the stadium. So they wanted me to fight with a Thai team. So for me to get the Thai media exposure.
Yeah.
But the hard thing about that is the Thais weigh in 61 kilos and the foreigners weighing at 63.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
I thought
everyone's weighed in the same weight.
Nah, mate. So it's weird.
Yeah, that's fucking scandalous.
Yeah, so that's when I realized, like, wow, I'm smaller, man. Because Lobo was strong. Yeah, mate.
When I saw him against John Panamon, I looked at him, I thought, fucking hell, he's all right. He's jacked.
He's really strong. So if you see the fight, the first round, mate, he battered me. He even cut me, and that was in the finals. And I remember round 1, I didn't know what to do because he was just too strong for me. Like, I would kick him, and he just wouldn't feel anything. Yeah. So I sat down, and then I was like, I started crying, mate, because I was like, I don't know. I felt like no foreigner been doing so well. And like now never in the history are 2 foreigners in the final of the Toyota Marathon, and you're gonna lose now. Yeah. Like I started crying, mate. So then the Thais, that was our first fight. Boat was in there. Boat was in for the first one championship for Samay when Samay was fighting the first fight for one championship. Oh yeah. So Boat was in Singapore. So I had no English in the corner. The Thais were just telling me keep going.
Yeah.
So I stood up, and then I just switched to southpaw, and then I just outclassed him, mate. Like round 2, round 3, he did not touch me. I just outclassed him and won easily, and I won the tournament. And then after 3-4 months, that's when then there was a 4-man tournament. And that's when I fought Julio Lobo in the finals.
Yeah, that were a really good fight. I enjoyed watching that. And that's you know what? Talking about the wins that you've got on your record now, I don't think people realize how many good scalps that you've got. How old are you? 21?
Yeah, 21, mate.
For someone 21 years old to have all these scalps on their record, it's massive.
And
I don't think people realize how many good names that you have got on there. Talk us through the final with Lobo, because at the minute he's one of the stadium's biggest names. He's fighting main event fights. Is he fighting Sexan? No, he's not fighting Sexan. He's fighting.
Nah, he moved up in weight, so Sexan pulled out. Because Sexan now wants to fight at 138 pounds, and Lobo wants to fight around 140, 142.
Yeah, who's Lobo fighting now? Is it they've changed the opponent? Is it?
I forget his name, but he's fighting in one of the top Thais in Thailand at the moment.
Yeah, I remember. I saw it the other day as well. Because he had a really good win against Pampayak last week or week before.
Yeah.
When I watched that fight, mate, it was like that. He dwarfed him. He's big.
He was big against me too, mate, and I knew that. But there's one thing I knew, and then everybody was saying I was going to get beat. But there was one thing I just felt him, mate. I just felt that he was too slow for me, mate.
Yeah.
I just felt that I was one step ahead of him, and the only thing missing in that fight was my power. Because, mate, back then I did no strength and conditioning. That was just pure running and pads, and that's how I beat him. So if I was strong like him back then, I do believe I could have hurt him even more because I was skinnier, mate, and I weighed in. I was smaller than him. He was much bigger than me. Yeah, but I still managed to win. And he was tough, man. He was a strong fighter, but I just felt that he was slow. That's it.
Yeah. When you look at like the videos of you on the pads and him on the pads, he's very strong. He's very methodical.
Yeah.
But like the difference in sharpness between you two, like you say, that's definitely what nicked you that fight.
Exactly, yeah.
Even without your strength and conditioning, though, you've always been really sharp and stuff like that.
I was sharp, but that's what I wanted to add in.
Do you think that with that added to your game, that has made you a lot stronger?
Mate, to be really honest, I've just added that during lockdown now. Like that's when I started strength and conditioning. So my next fight, that's when I'm going to see my power, because I had no time to do strength and conditioning in Thailand, mate. With all the training that we do and all the fights I had, weight cuts, there's no time to actually just focus on strength and conditioning, you know?
Yeah.
And now in the gym, Boat just bought a strength and conditioning coach. So that's going to add to our game too. That's why Pet Monaco's becoming stronger. That's why the Thais are leveling up at the gym too. You see Bulong's
Yeah,
knocking people up.
me, mate. He's just kicking
He's,
people in half.
yeah, mate. So like you see, like everyone's just getting stronger. So it's just, I think the level in the gym is getting even better now.
What with that, just over the last couple of years, there's a lot of Thai gyms now who've brought strength and conditioning in. They've all decided to get a boxing trainer in. They've all brought strength and conditioning in. The Thais are just leveling up even more now. And you can tell the difference with like Pech Morocco, because he was always slim but he's solid now, and you can see the difference in.
Now he's just strong. Like he's just and his body, before when he first was fighting at 70 kilos, his body was skinny, mate. You could see he could still go down to 66 kilos. Now he cannot. He's like just stiff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's very, very strong. So you've just beat Lobo. After that, that's when Rajadamnern's come in then, and you started making a name for yourself in that stadium.
Yeah. Then I had 5 straight wins in Rajadamnern, and then 4. And then I lost 1 in Raja, and then I rematched him and beat him again.
Mate, I love that. Oh, the first fight with you two in that. What were his name?
Mate, I just can't remember their names now.
Was it round 4 when it went absolutely fucking insane?
No, that was round 5 because the gambler jumped up. The gambler jumps up and he's like, if you win this, I think he was like, you're going to get like 300,000 baht or something.
Woo, let's go.
Yeah, and Boat tells me, but the money was at the back of my mind, but at the thing that Boat told me, you're losing. And Boat was really angry at me. I don't know why, but he turned around and told me, if you really want to still be a Petchyindee fighter, show me all you got, mate. Like, give me your all. I don't care win or lose. I just want you to go in this round and I want you to give 100%. And that's what I did. I just went in, I just bit down my gum. I just went mental, mate.
Because I remember, was that on the TV show at Rajadamnern?
Yeah, it was.
I remember watching it at the time, thinking, he's going to stop him. But then in the rematch, you did stop him, didn't you?
Yeah, but that fight, I did lose of gambling, mate.
Yeah.
Even everybody says they're like, even the whole that's when I actually earned the gamblers' respect. I became famous in the stadiums because of that fight, because the gamblers respected me. But I did lose the fight because of gambling, man.
Yeah. Do you know what? When you win, like all the Thais respect, all the gambler respect and stuff like that, that's a fucking good feeling. If it's not easy to do in Thailand. Yeah.
After that, like every time I would go just to watch another Petchyindee fight, like the gamblers would shout my name, like Michael. I was like, fuck, cool.
Yeah.
And then the next fight, I thought all the gamblers was with me. So that was actually when my dream came true, mate. Because my next fight in Raja, when I fought him in the rematch and I knocked him out,
the body shot and then that punch combination.
Yeah, but every hit I landed on him, that was actually my dream, is to hear that roar, man. You know, like dee, and the ring was vibrating, and I just loved it, mate. That was my favorite fight.
What? Because that fight was sick, because you hit him with a combination in that fight, which every shot landed absolutely flush.
Yeah.
Did you do anything different in training for that fight, or did you just work harder?
I don't, mate, I became obsessed. That's when I think I became obsessed, mate. I mean, I trained like an animal. Like I was training like to literally, like I really wanted to hurt him. So I was training like with 100% every day.
Yeah. Yeah, mate, that was a great fight. Round 3, you knocked him out, or 4?
Yeah, round 3.
Yeah, round 3. After that, then, is that when One Championship started sniffing around, or was it after you won the WBC title? Because that came next as well, didn't it?
No. I was already in 1 then.
Oh, you're already in 1 then?
Yeah, after that fight, I had 1 more fight in Raja. I knocked him out. And then One Championship sent the contract over. And then I signed my contract to be on One Championship. That was an exciting news to be on. And then as I signed the contract, I was actually fighting at Raja again in 1 month. But One Championship already sent me a fight contract to fight Sing Tong Noi.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Boat told me, you're not going to fight in One Championship if you don't win this fight in Raja.
Right.
So
no
so I was like, oh,
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. And he was actually very serious, because the guy I was fighting in Raja, he was really good, and he was a southpaw, and he had really strong middle kicks. So Boat wanted to see if I was ready for someone like Sing Tong Noi. So Boat told me, like, I want you to win this fight, and then I'll put you to fight Sing Tong Noi. And so I knocked that guy out in round 2.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah. And then Sing Tong Noi fight came about, mate.
Mate, well, I said to you a bit earlier, didn't I? I just I remember watching it at the time, but I just rewatched it about half an hour ago. Mate, that was some performance. That He's a
Yeah, you
tough,
see, like
tough
with Sing
guy.
Noi, with Sing Noi, I didn't go into kill mode. I was just playing out,
Yeah,
and
yeah. He was
I
fucking.
can do that. I can mix it up with a lot of people, and that's what I want to start doing more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So when was the WBC title? You won that the green belt. That was I was in Thailand. I landed in Thailand that day.
Yeah, that you landed the same day, mate.
Yeah, yeah. And me and Andy said, I said, put the telly on, put the telly on. We put it on around 1 or 2, just starting. And
Yeah.
you ripped him to bits in round 4.
No, so that was after Lerdzilla, mate. That was 2 months after Lerdzilla.
Oh, well, let's pull back to that then, because that was one of the
So I thought,
worst things
yeah.
I've ever seen in my life. That. So
Mate, that's
and you got, and you know what? That were a fight that you would have won as well. 100% you'd have beat him.
I was the kind of we had like kind of game plan with Bo. Bo told me round 1, like just go relax. Let's see what Lerdzilla's gonna do. And round 2, as I started, I saw, because he's older, mate. I've seen it, his breathing change. Like you could hear him. Like the round started and his breathing was like, I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna go mental on him. But he was, even in round 1, like I jumped to meet him and he like kind of lifted me up and he done like this dirty throws. And I was like, I knew like he was, he's tricky, but when he was throwing me with like bad intentions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that happened. Like that was so unexpected, mate. Like, I mean, all right.
When you say that happened, let's get into what happened. He lifted you up, didn't he? And he fucking swept you, and your elbow like twisted.
Yeah, so mate, I was fucking doing a fucking nearly backflip in the air, and obviously I was gonna put my hand down. Yes, I put my hand down, and as I put my hand down, my elbow just comes up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, honestly, I was watching it with my friend live, and we looked at it and we were going, "Oh no!" And I was so gutted for you at the time because you were riding.
I was
riding
such
a good wave at that time. You were fucking beating everyone. You were getting in line for title fights and stadium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that happened. How were it? Because I know your personality and you, like how much you love training. How hard were it to overcome that injury?
That was really, really hard, man. Because I'll tell you why though. Because after that fight, the month after, I was going to fight for the Lumpinee and WBC belt together.
Yeah.
It was something like that. I was going to fight extra. It was going to be a 2 million side bet for the Lumpinee belt and the WBC belt. That was the month after. And if I would beat Lerdzilla, I was also one closer step to the one title.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at the beginning, I to be honest, I was acting a bit immature. I was very sad, like for no reason. But then when I overcome that, I was like, you know what, just overcome it and like just get back into it. So I came back to Cyprus. I came back to the doctors I know since a child. Started working on recovering, and then just after 2-3 months of a lot of hard work, I was at physiotherapy every day, mate. Like because my hand couldn't fully extend; it would only extend to here. So I had to make it stronger to fully extend, and then I was back in Thailand, and then thank God WBC was kind to me because they felt sorry about the injury, so they kept me the title shot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like you say that's when I landed in Thailand and I turned the TV on.
Yeah.
Right in the ring, and you fucking did a demolition job on him. Round 4, you stopped that guy for the WBC title.
Yeah, but that was a hard thing because round 1 and 2 I was doing fine. I was like full control of fine. Then round 3 he just started beating me, but I was just being scared of like falling on the floor, man. I don't know why, because of my elbow.
Always going to be in the back of your head a little bit.
No, now it's gone. I don't care no more. Yeah. But that fight, round 3, it was really bothering me. Like I was really scared. I was like, oh, that pain was a lot. Like don't fall on the floor. Like then round 4, when I realized I'm losing a fucking WBC world title, I just went mental, man.
Yeah, you ripped it. I found, mate, when I watch your fights, it's your fucking body punches against the Thais. They hate it, don't they? They hate
exactly. Yeah, in the stadiums because they try to. That's what in the stadium they fight so Thai style, So like. Sometimes they don't like an uppercut. They don't really throw uppercuts for the body shot. So that's how I started. I never knew I had a strong body shot until I started throwing them. Like when they would come elbow me, I would go for the body. When they would clinch me, I would try before they clinch me, I'll try body shot. That's how I started realizing it was strong. And then they would just start going down. So I just started using it more and more.
Yeah. Well, like when you put it on them, like with the body shot, you start mixing it up to the head as well. It totally takes them out of their comfort zone, and what
exactly
locker that not many other fighters have. You could, like we've talked about earlier, we've touched on it. You can start to rip on bits with punches, and even if that's not going to affect him, you can still go back to your knees, your scoring, your technique.
Exactly.
That's a very good thing to have in your locker, and not many fighters have that. Is that what
Yeah,
you work on in training when you're sparring with all the elite level guys at Petchyindee?
yeah. So
power,
you
mixing
know,
it.
yeah, exactly. So like when I would fight, like if I would spar Pet Dam example, like when we train for one championship, we usually do hard sparrings. So like I know Pet Dam, when Pet Dam gets angry, he throws that left kick really strong.
Yeah.
And that's my time when I learn, you know, like I said in my mind, try block his kick and try answer back. Even if you don't land many middle kicks, at least you're trying to block Pet Dam's kick, which is fucking fast, and
Yeah.
answer back, you know? So like there, I'll do like one round, I'll do a bit like more Thai style round. I'll try score only Thai style. And then the next round, I'll just be like more aggressive. I'll go for his body. I'll go into boxing. I'll try take a kick maybe sometimes, but not take it fully, but like step in a bit closer, take a bit less damage and go in. So I try to work on it alone, but also both started realizing my style. So he's been telling my trainer's so getting used to it. So we kind of mix and match now, you know?
Speaking about your trainer, I fucking love watching you and Ajahn Watt on the pad.
Yeah,
Chemistry there. It takes a long time to be able to find a Thai that you can mix with like that. And you're lucky when you do find someone like that, because you two were perfect.
Mate. He's like family now, man. Like, I mean, he's like my father in Thailand. Like, without him, like, I think I can't fight the same without him. Like, my weight cuts are easier with him. He's by my side every single thing, you know. Like, you know what feels good? It feels good knowing, like, you know, in Thailand, there's a lot of people who want to take advantage of you. So it feels really good. Like when I'm at the stadium, I feel like, you know, I feel like he's family. So I trust him fully. He would never like take advantage of money or anything, man. All he wants is for me to become a champion. That's his dream. And he loves me like a son. Like he wakes up every morning to be at the gym. There's no way he won't be lazy to train him. There's no lazy days with Ajahn Watt. Like there's no days he'll tell me like, Savvas, today we're going to do light. He'll tell me to Savvas, today you're going to rest, but you're going to train. He's kind of like that, you know?
Yeah, mate. I want to ask you like about the fucking sparring sessions when they go off in Petchyindee. Who's the hardest to spar? Is there anyone who's always like, oh fuck, I don't want to spar with him today. I'm not ready for spar with him. What's it like going off? Because you've got so many elite level guys in one place.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's got to be Pet Monacot, mate. Pet Monacot's the strongest clincher, mate. The strongest, mate. Even, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but even when you box spar with Pet Monacot, he's so accurate, mate, that he'll land punches, like weird punches, mate. He'll land it on your jaw, he'll land it on your nose, and they all hurt.
Well, so mate, his last fight, he punched fucking Magnus to smithereens.
Exactly, and his punches, mate, like he always lands them on, like you either get dizzy or you just hurt. It's not, you know, you sometimes get punched, it hurts, but it's not it doesn't hurt. With Pet Monacot, even with the 16 ounces, like he lands them on your jaw and your nose because he's so experienced. He's just so hard, mate. And there's never, Pet Monacot's the only guy I can never like, I don't know, like I still to this day I can't fully 30-minute clinch him. I need help. I need
because when he used to
another guy.
Stadiums, he was a clinching machine in the stadium. He out clinched Pet Bunchu. That shows you what.
And his clinch, mate. When he trains for fights, we're clinching, like we're 3 people on him, and he's full control all the time. It's just amazing.
Really?
Yeah, he's just a beast, man. He's just a beast.
Coming back to the scene in the stadiums, obviously you were lined up for a lot of fucking big fights before this COVID.
Yeah.
There was talk of you fighting Sexan at one point, wasn't there?
I was supposed to fight Sexan, and he was Raja champion at the time, so it was going to happen. I was going to fight Sexan first, like at 134 pounds, because the Thais like to do this. Like they won't give you a title shot right away, right? Because his gym owner, Sorsomai, are kind of control of Rajadamnan. So they wanted to. So they booked a fight to happen at Raja at 100. No, sorry, it was going to happen on a big show in Phuket. If you remember, a big show happened. All the big names fought Super Muay Thai. I was going to fight Sexan on that show at 134 pounds. And then if I would win him, I think I would get a Raja title shot and the rematch. So,
so I had absolutely wild.
I was going to fight.
When you're going to fight Sexan, what would your game plan be to fight someone like him? Would you go war, or would you play technique, or would you do a bit of both and mix it up?
You know what? Because I looked up to Sexan so much, man. You know, obviously the main goal is to beat him, but I was going to enjoy that fight, mate. I was just going to go. I don't know. To be honest,
when
he could take a lot of damage.
Well, when I read about it, I could only picture like what it'd be like round 4 in Rajadamnern when you two were fucking going mental. How crazy the gamblers would be going.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it would be a mental fight because I think he would have when you see him fight foreigners, he starts in round 1.
Yeah,
So I truly believe by round 4 we would kind of be both tired and we would just go to war.
yeah,
But I would like to like go to war with him, make him think I'll continue that, and then just go on my back foot and just score.
yeah,
Just because I want to beat him, right?
Obviously, yeah. I
Yeah.
suppose if you just try and wall with him the whole way through, he's going to be playing into his
Yeah,
hand.
and my trainer now, like my trainer knows his weaknesses. You know, my trainer watches a lot of fights. He sees like, Rungit hurts his legs, and like you could see his weaknesses are coming. Like they're coming to surface now. He has a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah,
So we were training to hurt him mostly. We were gonna hurt him.
yeah. His last fight, well, his last 2, he got KO'd, and then his last one, he still looked a bit vulnerable then as well. So the accumulation of all the fucking crazy wars he's had, because he's been doing it for about 12 years. I've been watching him fight. So I must have been 10 years, I think, I've been watching him fight. I remember when he fought Kaimu Cow in back 2011, and that got fight of the year. And he's been doing it every single fight. It's going to accumulate.
Every single, yeah. But I wanted to fight him. That was perfect timing to fight him, and then something happens again. I was gonna fight Tanonchai. That didn't happen. So like all my big fights, let's say that my name was gonna go up, they just didn't happen. Like COVID came around, and it was just a nightmare happened, mate.
You're only 21 though, so these fights.
Yeah,
aren't going.
My fight I was supposed to fight actually in before COVID came was against Silvercorn. We were gonna fight on the MotoGP show. Sangmani I think was gonna fight Tawanchai or something. Yeah, it was some big card, massive card, mate. And I was training really hard for that. Like, mate, I never trained that hard because he was a Channel 7 champion, and he's at a PK. He trains at PK gym.
Those Channel 7 guys, they're next level out there. They're
not only, but Petchyindee and PK, we're always at war.
Yeah.
So for training, me and Proud, Proud, right? This poor guy.
I love that guy.
He was gonna fight someone from PK too. So we were both in fight camp, and both had us really strict, mate. Like training was really ridiculous, but I was really excited because I really wanted to win. And then just COVID hit, and then just everything went downhill ever since.
So let's go back to your last fight for one championship, because again I watched that earlier and that was just fucking so unlucky. Were it Naito? Is that what it's called, Naito?
Yeah, Taiki Naito. Yeah.
Yeah, Taiki Naito. You just bossed the whole fight, but like you made 2 mistakes which caused 2 8 counts.
Yeah.
You want to talk to us? Just let everyone know.
I don't want to be mean. I mean, I don't like complaining about my counts, but I mean, the second one, yeah, you could say it's a count, but the first one was so quick, mate. Like I stood up in the second. I wasn't waiting for the referee to count me, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I did get rocked, mate. I'm being honest, but I got up and I knew what was happening. I was up in 1 second. If you see the fight, 1 second I was up.
Yeah,
in Thailand, like I punched many people. Yeah, I punched many people down in Thailand. So, all these small stuff, I'm still trying to get used to the scoring stuff, like it's way different, it's Muay Thai, but it's more like a fight than Muay Thai. You get me, right?
You just want to just like explain to people a little bit, because we talked about this earlier, that people don't really understand. You just want to like just go with the differences, rule set and the glove size. Just talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in Thailand, round 1, you have to start. You basically, because it's 5 rounds, so the Thais score in round 3 and round 4. The first 2 rounds, the Thais. A lot of people say they don't count. They do count in Thailand, but the Thais basically tell you don't waste your energy. So you're mostly saving your energy. And that's basically for the gamblers to start choosing which side they're going to go on. Yeah. So round 1 and 2, you're saving your energy, you're jabbing away, you're teeping, you're staying relaxed. And then round 3 and 4, that's when you have to go. But the scoring's different. You have to, they care about the clinch a lot. There's a lot of clinch, a lot of body kicks, and it's just a 5-round fight. The gloves are bigger, it's different. But then in one championship, it's 3 rounds, 3 minutes. And you don't even warm up the same as you do in the stadiums. That's another thing. There's no Thai oil, there's only Vaseline, there's only some pads before the fight. And then the 4-ounce gloves, it's just like fighting with no gloves, basically. There's no difference.
100%, mate. It is. Do you know what?
I look at
the way those gloves are with the leather, I sometimes think I'd rather get fucking punched with just a fist, mate, than because the leather is so tough. When you've got them gloves on and you go like out on your chin, you go, fuck.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. And then yeah, the scoring, the way Taik he fought me. If he fought me in the stadiums, if that same fight happened in the stadium, he wouldn't have won.
Oh, mate, they sent him out the ring, said, stop running around, stop going back.
Exactly, yeah. So he's been running, the Thais would hate that. They don't like that running around. He was running around a lot. But that's the thing. You know what? To be honest, I do understand one championship. I mean, they're giving a chance to people to understand Muay Thai. I mean, everyone's getting paid better money.
Yeah.
And all they're asking is for exciting fights. So it sucks how Muay Thai is changing, but at the same time, thank you to one championship because it's becoming global. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So they need to push us to fight more because they want people to like it more. So I do understand the whole concept behind it. It makes perfectly sense to me because it's kind of competing against the UFC, right? So what they want to do is put us to stand, go to war, so more fans can watch it. So yeah, it's just a whole different game though.
While we're on the subject of ONE FC, there's a fight that always pops up all the time. People are asking for you and Haggerty all the time. Personally, I think that'd be fucking sick. You versus Haggerty, who wins and why?
Mate, I'm 100% I'm gonna win, mate. I mean, I'm gonna work a lot on that fight. He's a very good. You know what? I really want to fight him because he's just who else is there to fight that good as a foreign fighter? There's not many foreign fighters for me to fight, and I always want the best fights. So that everybody asks me, like, who would you want to fight? Haggerty? Yeah, of course I want to fight Haggerty. I mean,
everyone wants to see it.
Everybody. I mean,
every time there's a poll on Instagram.
Everything.
What fights do you want? Savvas versus Haggerty. Everyone wants that fight.
Exactly, that's a fight. I mean, the whole world wants to watch that fight. If you're saying that, I mean, that's gonna pull a lot of fans to watch it too. So yeah, why not? He's just another guy standing in my way anyway. So yeah, I really want to fight him, mate, and I think I can beat him.
Yeah,
I think I'm more experienced. I think I have more, and like even though, a lot of people probably judging me because of my last fight, but that's just not. I have many fights. I mean, I fight in the stadiums. I learn more off a loss than I do off a win. So I'm just come back better every time.
You can't judge you off your last fight after we've just spoke about all the people you've beaten.
Yeah.
There's not many fucking Westerners out there, and you're only 21. There's not many Westerners out there who have a resume like that by the time they're fucking 30 odd, let alone having it at 21. It's pretty ridiculous now. Because I knew that you'd had a lot of big wins, but like now what we're going through them all now, it's made me realize, fucking hell, 21 and he's done all this already. Yeah, so you and Haggerty, like you said, you've got the experience over him there. How many fights?
You know what? I'm nearly on 50 professional fights. But you know what? Haggerty, I mean, with the experience, he climbed the ranks pretty quick, and he's shown. I mean, I take my hat off to him because he's with that little fights, he's reached to the top, really quick.
As well as all your wins, that's unheard of by a 21-year-old.
Exactly. So you see,
his to get there with that little fight.
Exactly.
That's also unheard of.
So that's what makes our fight exciting. Is like my history in fights, and then his history in fights too. Even though he's only had 16 fights, he works hard. Like for him to be up there, I'm sure he works hard for it. So that's why I just want to fight him now. I'm sick of people telling me like, "Do you want to fight Haggerty? Do you want to fight him?" Yeah, I want to fucking fight him. When?
And both of your styles as well, it'll be an explosion, won't it? Especially in those.
Yeah, mate.
What is your future goals now then? What do you want to do first? Do you want to do this stadium title and then go for the one title, or do you want to see what comes at you?
So mate, after my last fight in one championship, that really hit me again, mate. Like, to be honest, I went through another phase then. I was trying to overcome that. And I was like, oh, you can't do both. You can't do the stadiums and you can't do one championship. You're going to have to choose. But then as time passes, it's like, mate, as I said, I'm only 21. So I have the energy for both. I just want to do both. I can't choose one, even though it's going to be hard to do both, injuries and everything. But like, I have so much energy to do both, mate. I want the stadium title and I want the one championship title.
Yeah,
So
man.
like I'm going after both, mate.
Yeah. But like you just said, you're young, you're fresh, you're at the best gym in Thailand.
Yeah.
Once you get back over there, there's not much I don't think that's going to stop you really, because doing
Nah.
what you've done so far, and as soon as you get back into it, it'll have probably done you good having this break and this rest and stuff.
You know
Your
what?
body will be
Like
back
Bo,
strong,
Bo,
the hunger
I
will be.
message Bo. Every time I speak to Bo. Last time I spoke to Bo, Bo's like, you know what? Like it's good for you. Like you've been fighting lots. Like just take care of your body now. Like heal all your injuries. Just rest and just relax. Keep your body fit, and once all this is over, you'll come back. So it's like, you know, I sat down. I was like, wow. I've been like, mate, I have 107 amateur fights and 50
Fucking hell,
professional.
did you?
Yeah, so I'm nearly
Wow.
at 160 fights already. So it's like, you know, I've been fighting forever and I'm only 21. Like it feels forever, but I'm only 21. So to be honest, it was a good break because I've been working on strength and conditioning now, mate. I want to become a fucking animal. So
You already are.
yeah, yeah, but I want to become like, I would like, you know, like again, Taiki, the last Japanese guy, if I was doing the strength and conditioning I'm doing now, he wouldn't have been standing all the shots I landed on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm filling up the puzzles in my game now. So it's good. It's actually there's everything's good, you know.
Well, mate, thank you for that little insight into your career, and thank you for joining us. I am sure
Nah,
when
man.
you do
Thank
get
you.
back out to Thailand, that if anyone is going to win a stadium title who's a Westerner, mate, it's you're next on the list, 100%.
Thanks, man. That's the goal, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for coming on, mate, and thanking you for sharing your insights and your career.
Thank you too.
Like I just said to you then, I knew you had a lot of big wins, but when you've been reeling them off, then it's made me realise, wow, a special talent. Is there any of your social media you want to get people to follow you on or anything like that? Or any of your sponsors?
Yeah. I just want to thank my sponsors, XM. They're a company. They've been beside me like in my career since I'm 14, and they just believe in my dreams and they're just supporting me ever since. So thank you to everyone at XM. And I usually only use my Instagram, so hit me up, Michael Savvas. And thank you everybody for following.
Right, mate, amazing to talk to you. And
yeah, mate.
Good luck when you get back out to Thailand. I'm sure I'll see you over there, and hopefully,
yeah, mate. Well, I'll see you around.
Before I retire, before I'm too old and 40, we'll fight on the same one championship show card.
You need the one belt before you retire, mate.
I've still got a little bit in the tank just left for that, mate, just yet. So we'll see. Mate, thank you again and take care.
Thank you too, bro. Thanks, bro.